Hey, what's going on everybody? It's DJ Sketch and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a quick look at a new game that's going to be coming out relatively soon in this quarter. It's actually some beta test footage that a buddy hit me up to this, I guess just yesterday through Facebook. It's a new game that's coming out from one of the co-creators of Halo. It's a game called Disintergration, and this one was actually kind of interesting, because at first I didn't really know what to expect until I saw a little bit of the trailer footage. So basically what you got here is a post-apocalypse kind of game. I guess human brains are taken out and replaced into robotic armaments. And it's kind of like the hover bike thing that you ride around that you're seeing me, and on this demo you might be seeing me blow up a few of these also. But this game, from what I saw so far, was actually pretty cool. I guess I haven't really played, I guess, like vehicular combat, or especially like vehicular, I guess, like FPS games like this in a very long time. So as soon as I booted it up, it gave me like a lot of kind of like the same vibe as a really old game, T-Mech, that I used to play in the arcades all the time, and also a game I used to play on 64 and the original PlayStation a bunch called Forsaken. Also, it reminds me a lot of Forsaken. So basically what you got here, this is just the like PvP modes they had on offer, which were basically like shuffle, it was like domination, or demolition, that's the word I was looking for. So you had about 3 modes to choose from, and out of the 30 playable factions that you were going to have on the full release, you got to play with 7. Usually you ran with the business and it was like the neon crew. I forget what the name of it was. If I look at the footage, I'm sure it'll tell me. But there was a lot of variations between the stuff you had on offers. So, like some factions had full auto weapons, some had shotguns, some had rockets, etc., etc. So basically what you want to do, it's almost like tower defense too, a little bit, which I wasn't really expecting that. So in a way, I was like kind of like League of Legends and like Dota and like that regard, as far as like actually getting like a party of things to an objective and then safely getting them back. But that's about where the similarities end though. And with this, like as far as the tech demo that was offered, I guess there was an open beta that was open from the 31st to the 1st, so you had 2 days to play it. So it's already closed by this point. But it was interesting. I know I'm trying to figure out like what server this thing put me on, because honestly I did have it was a little bit laggy, I will definitely admit that, and plus I imagine you can probably see it in some of this gameplay. But for when it was working, and when it was working well, honestly it was pretty enjoyable, as far as like just getting the mechanics of like actually flying your craft. That was actually, it took a little bit of getting used to, but once I got it, like honestly it made a whole lot more sense, and everything was fairly easy to navigate after that point too. So with this one, it was 5v5 with the game modes that were on offer, and it took, again, like I mentioned, took a second to get used to the control, but also it took even a lot longer just to get used to the latency and the bandwidth, like kind of going up and down. I know this is mostly a stress test, and they haven't put a official release on this one just yet, but honestly, like I'm gonna kind of keep my eyes peeled on this one, because this could be interesting depending on like what they're trying to do with it as far as the campaign, because I'm interested. And I'm curious, like I'm curious what this game's going to be like when it actually fully releases, and once they actually have all the servers dialed in. And with this, like honestly, like the only things I could really say that could really use improvement, this control. I know like every set of factions and every pilot had like a different set of stats, so that much I get. So you kind of like play your strengths and not so much your weaknesses. But all the crafts, for the most part, the control did feel like just a little bit clunky, like it's a little bit stiff at times. But even so, like once like you figure out what you're doing and like what everything is supposed to be doing, it works. Todd Howard response, it just works. But with this one, it's a neat little thing. Also, it was cool to like play something a little bit different than, you know, like basically every other first-person shooter that's out at the moment. So plus it was the whole flight part, like that was cool. So that's where I really say like it reminds me a lot of games like Forsaken or Descent. So if you ever play games like that, this could make sense as far as something to try out in the future. But at the same time, it's you know, it's interesting. It's something different. So I guess I really don't have like a number or anything to put on this, because like as far as like beta reviews, like that's just not really what I do here. But at the same time, I mean, it's got a good skeleton to it. I mean, this could be interesting, and I'm down to check this out when it actually releases, whenever that is. It should be sometime either like this quarter or beginning of quarter 2. Even though that's going to be a kind of packed window in quarter 2, and even with this window in the first quarter, it's going to be a lot of stuff going on. But this might be one to watch out for. So if you got to try this, also drop it down in the comments and tell me what you thought of it, and then we get a discussion going about it. And let me know if you're going to try to pick this up too, because if you're on Xbox, I guess I'll look around for people that might be playing this in the future, if it's actually worth picking up. But yeah, that's all I got to say about this one, and I'll see you on the next one.